Okay, let's go over our bell ringer. This is a review of transversals and exterior angles. So if you look, they actually give you 3 pictures that are totally worked out. And yes, this was on last year's STAR test. So I'm going to show you many ways to get the answers on this one problem. Okay, so step 1. If you know that this is a straight angle, it has to equal 180 degrees, okay? So now, if I have 90, because remember those are 90 degrees, if that is 90 plus 30 plus x, or your z, whatever letter you want to use there. So if I have 90 plus 30, that gives me 120 plus x equals 180. I am then going to subtract 120 from each side, and I am going to get x, or we're going to change it to z, is 60. So I already know my z is 60. Okay? If you remember back that the measure of the angles of a triangle also equal 180, I could say, oh, that's easy to find. Why? Because I again have 90 plus 130. Sorry. 90 plus 30 plus y equals 180. So if I'm looking at this, oh look, it looks just like this. So automatically I know it's 120 plus y equals 180. Subtract 120 from both sides, and I get y as 60. Okay? Then I could say, oh, I can look right here and see this is side by side, so I know it needs to equal 180. So x plus 60 equals 180, subtract 60, and yes, you can put all these with the variables in Math Up Enter and just let it solve it for you, equals 120. So you also have that option. Now, let's look at this. Let's just erase this all. I'm going to show you a different way to work it. What if I see this right here as my exterior angle, which is a box, and I have my circle, which is my 30, and my circle here, which is 90. My alternate exteriors are right there looking at me. So I can do what we did yesterday, and I could say, okay, that is 30 plus 90 automatically gives me 120. Okay, that was simple. Then you could still do the 120. Y plus 120 equals 180. And I know I have subtract 120, subtract 120, and I get y equals 60. Then I could go to what I learned yesterday also with my transversals, and I could color code. Now, when you're looking at this right here, just so you know this, these two angles are going to equal each other. So this is 90 plus 30 is 120. Oh, look. So every yellow would be 120. And every pink is 60. So right then and there, voila, I would have had my measurements. So automatically, I would know y is 60, x I figure out which ones are my letters. X is 120. And Z is also 60. So there was your answers. So you had multiple ways to be able to work that. But look here. If you notice the ones they do, and they always put an example on there. Oh, if I color code, do you see there was already my 48? So if I knew one was 60, I could figure out the other one. So as soon as I figured out that angle right there, I could have automatically figured my other answers. So as you see, you can use any of the strategies we just talked about. So now we're moving to systems. On your system, you are just looking at where they meet. So the two lines graphed on the coordinate plane, each represents a linear equation. Which of the following ordered pair simultaneously satisfies both linear equations? That means where are they equal? Where are they crossing? So all you are looking at is the intersection right there. And you were writing the ordered pair. Okay, so remember, if this helps, quadrant 1 is positive, positive. Quadrant 2 is negative, positive. Quadrant 3, your order pair is going to be negative, negative. And quadrant 4, it's positive, negative. So you could get rid of answers right there. But if you're looking at where they intersect or cross, it is at 1, 1. So your answer is C. And we are actually on the highlighted download in your assignment. So you might want to pause if you didn't see that's where we were at. And download this so you can get credit for this. Number 2, we are just looking at where they intersect. I see it's a positive, negative. It is not sitting on an axis, so I know it's not going to have a 0 in it. So automatically, I know it has to be A. But if I am looking here, I see I walk 2, so my X is 2. And my Y, I went down, so it's negative, is negative 4. Number 3. So they will have the lines there. They will already be intersected. You just need to read the intersection and see what it means. Here in a minute, you're going to see we actually have to relate what the labels are. So here my answer for my systems would be negative 3, 1. We know it's not sitting on an axis, so I could automatically mark out the ones that are 0, 0. I also see it's in quadrant 1, but this would be a great slide question, so that might be a way they put it. But we are sitting at ordered pair 2, 2. Now look at number 11. You're going to see where they kind of change, and you have to explain what it is saying. So Beth and Jane were selling cookies to raise money for their local pet shelter. The graph below shows a linear relationship between the cumulative number of boxes of cookies each of them sold and the number of days since they started selling cookies. On which day did it appear that Beth and Jane sold the same number? So same number is where they are intersecting. And I am looking how many days, so I am looking at my x-axis. That's something you're going to have to look at. That's the only number I need to look at, and I look at that where it's intersecting, and it is 9 days. That's it. That's all you're having to do. Let's look at number 12. The graph below shows a linear relationship between the charge for a long-distance call and the length of the call in minutes. Under the 2-minute phone plans, how many minutes must a long-distance call be in order to be the same for both plans? Okay, so I'm looking at minutes. I am looking at where they intersect. I'm going down, and I see that is 6 minutes. You try number 13. Pause the video. if I start talking again before you're ready. Okay, let's see what you got. Joey and Mike each read a book. The graph below shows a linear relationship between the number of pages each of them have left to read and the number of days since they started reading. On which day does it appear that Joey and Mike had the same number of pages left? So that is where they intersecting to be the same. We are looking at days, so I am looking at my y-axis. I'm sorry, my x-axis. I am going up and I look and I see it is 10 days. Number 14. The graph below shows a linear relationship between the number of bacteria in two cultures and the number of hours that has elapsed. How many hours had elapsed when it appears what the number of bacteria in the two cultures were the same? So it says how many hours. So I'll go down here, I'll circle, and I see it is 12. Now you're going to see we're going to have to look at the x and y axis on the next one to compare where they are intersecting. The graph on the right shows a linear equation between the hiring of two different plumbers and the number of hours each of them worked. Based on the graph, which of the following is true? So you are just looking at the intersection. I see, and I would write this down, 4 hours. It makes it much easier before you start reading all those words. Would be $30. So let's look at the first one. The cost of hiring a plumber for 1 hour is $5 for both plumbers and 1 at 2. So I am looking for both plumbers. So for them to both be the same, I am looking at where they intersect. So which one of those is saying 4 hours for $30? D is correct. That's all you're doing. So read the graph first before you go in and read the answer choices. Makes it much easier because there was your 4 and your $30. You do number 21. If you need to pause before, if I start talking again, pause it. Okay, the graph on the right shows a linear relationship between the number of boxes of pen each student has left to sell and the number of days since the student started selling pens. Based on the following, which of the following is true? So if I look at this, they are crossing at 8 days is 15 boxes left. Okay. So I see 8 days, so that one's right. We are not looking at 15 days. So if you look at that, they flip-flopped it to get you. They both need to sell how many more boxes? 15. So your answer is, oh, not C, sorry. Your answer is B. Do we see how simple that is? Perfect. So now you're going to go to your assignments and you are going to do, click on the next activity underneath the yellow one. And it is called System Notes 8.9a Practice on Own. And you are going to do that Google form and it is practicing problems like we just did.